Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Thursday. Welcome to our Facebook Live. My name is Nikki Wetzel. I'm the Director of Communications and Advancement here at Prosperity Connection. And today we're talking about what to expect during a coaching session. So if you caught us live a couple weeks ago, we talked about what to expect during a credit report review. And so this time we wanted to talk about our other program with our financial coaches, just to help you really understand what coaching means, what it is, what it isn't, how you can get signed up, what you can expect during a session, hopefully answer all of those questions. So as always, I have a list of questions that I'm going to walk through with our wonderful coaches here. But if you think of anything, please pop them in the chat. We will make sure that those get answered at some point. So again, welcome. I'm here with two of our wonderful coaches, Ashlee and Veronica, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves really quickly.
Hi, I'm Ashlee Morgan. I'm a senior financial coach here at Prosperity Connection.
And what's something you really love about the job? Sorry, I forgot to add that.
I guess the thing that I really enjoy the most is being able to help people at pretty much any stage of their financial life. Being able to just kind of dig in and help as needed it's very pleasurable.
Awesome. And Brad?
Hey everybody, it's Veronica Guerrero. I'm a senior financial coach, bilingual English and Spanish. And one of my favorite things is basically when somebody becomes financially stable with their budget and their savings, is getting them to that next step, whether it's investing, whether it's home ownership, or just saving up for a vacation. So getting the client to the next step is one of the things I enjoy most, their progress.
So thank you. All right, so let's dive in. Financial coaching. How do I get signed up? Where do I get started?
Yeah, so you'll want to go to our website, prosperityconnection.org, and in the top right corner, there is a register section, and you'll just click on that button and it will lead you to a section that's going to ask you if you want to do coaching or credit review or classes, and then you're just going to want to sign up for coaching, and then it will walk you through the information, your name, your address, everything that it needs to get started. And then once you're registered, your information will get sent over to us automatically, and then we will contact you. Typically, that process is about 24 to 48 hours, or 2 business days. You should expect to hear back from your coach, and they'll get started with you.
Perfect. Awesome. All right. Is there anything that I need to get started?
Yes, one thing that we ask for is to make sure you have an income and that you're not in crisis. If you currently don't have an income, it's very difficult, but because in order to create a budget and fix your credit and pay off debt, you would need that income. Also, if you're in crisis and you don't have somewhere to stay or live, it's very difficult to start coaching. So we recommend you really focus on those two before you get started.
Yeah. But other than that, I'm good?
Yeah,
I can
other than that, you're good.
Okay, perfect. All right. And then do I have to meet in person?
No, definitely not. We have the option to do Zoom calls, so virtual or in person, and that is always your particular interest, however you'd like to handle that. You can do Zoom if you'd like, you can do in person. I have people who switch it up, some people who will do virtual sometimes, but then whatever we're discussing is a little bit more meatier, and so they feel okay, I want to be in person, face to face. So you can choose that as you go.
So I'm not stuck with one or the other. Okay, perfect. All right, so I've signed up. I can meet virtual Zoom however I want. I've got an income. I'm not currently in crisis. When I come to a coaching session, what does that actually look like? What are coaching sessions?
Me, typically, I will contact you, and the first thing that we'll do is schedule an initial coaching session. I use that coaching session as a get to know you kind of session. So really, you're gonna do a lot of talking about what brings you to us, what are the goals that you're trying to reach, how, are you looking for budget help? Are you looking for, credit review, or, building that credit score, whatever the case may be. And you're just going to kind of walk me through exactly what it is that you're looking for my help with. And then from that point, is when we'll start to establish a plan of how we're gonna do that. So I'll let you know, I'll probably send you away with some homework, like,
Okay.
hey, we need to get this done, or an expense list, or whatever the case may be. And I'll kind of formulate a plan of how we're gonna get to your goal, and then in that second session with me is when we really start to dive into, you know, the budget and things like that, or whatever was your concern to begin with. So that's kind of how I do it.
Veronica, how do you approach coaching sessions?
So how I approach coaching sessions, depending if they're gonna be in person or in Zoom, like Ashley said, I try to establish that connection. Make sure you do an appointment using like our Calendly link, and then know overall where we're located. So if you do wanna come in person, I always ask like, how far are you from our actual location?
Okay.
I've made the mistake before where I was like, okay, we'll meet in person, and I had no idea they lived like 2 hours away. So
Oh no.
make sure I know how much is the distance between us in person. And another thing as well is if we're doing a Zoom, making sure you have the actual app started, because I've had when I'm doing a coaching session and it's via Zoom, we get started and the first 15-20 minutes get lost because they haven't downloaded the app, they don't know how to use it. So I make sure that they at least have the app and overall have an understanding of how to use it. This is like a simple phone call I do or over the text.
Okay, so you do a lot of like pre-work before your even first session.
Yeah.
So you'll connect with someone via phone or text to make sure that they're ready to go. I mean, that's smart. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
just for anybody watching that's not 100% sure, we are right in the heart of St. Louis, in St. Louis metro region. So if you're watching from somewhere outside of that, please sign up for a Zoom session.
Yeah, because I asked the question, thankfully we were able to do a Zoom, so.
Yeah, good.
Prevent them from.
2 hours.
Yeah, that's one of the pre-work I do, and then once you actually come to the coaching session, one of the things I also ask is if you wanna bring notes, pen, paper, via Zoom or in person, and also have just an overall general idea of your bills.
Okay.
Just so we can kind of see where we go from there. Like Ashley, the first session is kind of getting to know you. And then the second one, usually, I like to pull credit by then.
Okay.
So after the first session, I'll send you our DocuSign,
Okay.
which gives us permission to do a soft pull on your score.
Yeah.
By
Very important. I'm so glad you said that. Soft pull. Anything that we do with credit will not hurt your credit score, won't show up on your credit report. It is a soft pull.
Yes, yes. So definitely we do I do the soft pull. The second time we meet, I like to go over your credit and just explain the overall health of your credit and if there's things we can work on. And then the third session, I try to emphasize that the most. I know a lot of people tend to say like, oh, I don't need a budget, or I have numbers in the back of my mind, but to have a strategic plan and success, it's good for us to like write it down or see it in paper or via Excel. So I always try to say, if you have a budget, I would love to see your budget and go over it together. Or if the one we have is better, that can help you, I also like to recommend that route. Because based on that budget, we'll know how much money we can save and how much money we can use to pay off debt, which sometimes we have to clean up our credit, so.
Yeah.
That gives me an overall understanding and plan, so that's the third one. And then the following ones, I'm not sure about you, Ashley, but the rest I kind of use for accountability
Okay.
and support.
Yeah.
So we have our credit, we have our budget, and then the rest of those sessions are basically being that coach, being that, all right, holding you accountable.
Sometimes just having to say out loud, like, oh, I spent, $500 on Target will make somebody not do it. Like, they don't want to have to get on the phone and tell us, like, oh, I messed up. And it happens. But I think that accountability, being an accountability coach at that point is really important.
Yeah, and then also emphasizing that like mistakes are gonna happen, everything's gonna be perfect.
Yes.
And just overall being very understanding and just being that support that people need.
Yeah. No one budgets perfectly from the get-go. No one budgets perfectly forever. Like mistakes happen. And as someone who has like lived part of her life thinking like, oh, I don't need like a budget like written out or like formalized.
It's also a fluid thing too.
Yeah.
The budget
Yeah.
doesn't always stay the same. So I think it's important that even when you feel like you're in a spot where you're like, I got this, I'm good to go. Come back to us every, 6 months, even
Yeah.
come back to, and let's reevaluate to make sure it's still working for the way that you live your life.
You just brought up a really great point that I want to emphasize and clarify. So one thing I was going to say is I hope you're all hearing just from the two of them talking that our sessions differ greatly based on what you need and what you're working on. We don't have yes, Veronica has a rough plan and things that she likes to do, but all of this is completely customized and individualized to what you need and what your goals are. And then, yes, completely tailored. And then now because I said that, I lost track of how I was going to segue to something that you said. So we'll see if it comes back to me. Before I move on to my next question, I do want to remind y'all, I see several of you watching. If you have any questions, I saw someone give a shout out. They've got an appointment with you, Ashlee, next week. So if you have any questions about coaching sessions, please do feel free to put those in the chat.
I do have one other thing before we move on. The one thing that I think is the most important is to make sure that when you schedule your appointment, you are ready to sit down and meet with us, and you are in a quiet place and you're in a good headspace and things like that, because as much as we want to help, you're not going to get the same level of service if you're trying to drive in your car, or you're around a bunch of people, or you're getting your hair done, or whatever the case may be. That's just not conducive to getting the most out of the sessions. So you always want to make sure that you're in a quiet spot, you're ready to write things down, you're in a good headspace, and we can get so much more done, which ultimately we want to make sure we're utilizing your time properly when we're with you in these sessions. So we'll want to just kind of make sure of that.
Yep. This is for you. So take advantage and make it the best you can. Dearest, I saw your question. Did I pay you for this wonderful segue? I will get to your I'll get to your question in just a second, because I actually did remember what you made me think of, Ashlee, and that's cadence, I guess, of meetings. You made a really good point. If you get to a good place and want to meet every 6 months, it sounds like that's an option. I don't. So do I have to meet every week, every other week? What does that look like?
So just like we were saying, it's tailored and personalized to you. I have clients that after they get their credit back and their budget, they're like, okay, I'll follow this plan, see you in 90 days.
Okay.
And I have other clients that are like, hey, I've been trying to work on this on my own and it's not working out, so can you help me budget every check? And I'm happy to do that as well.
Okay.
Some people get paid weekly, some get paid bi-weekly. So if you need help budgeting with every single check in order to have that extra support or accountability, we're open to that as well. So it's just tailored to every person and preference.
Cool.
And there is it's again kind of like what Veronica is saying, there's no set rules. So you don't have to go in thinking, oh, if I start this, then I'm going to have to meet with this person every week or every other week. It's whatever works best for you. And then on the flip side, don't ever feel like, okay, well, now that I have my budget and I'm good to go, I'm good and I should just be leaving this person alone and figuring it out on my own. That's not the case either. It's again, whatever kind of support you feel you need, let us know, and that's how we will support you to the best of our ability.
Yep, definitely.
Awesome. Okay, so Dearest's question, like I said, I must have planted it because it was so perfect, is what are some of the goals that you guys can help with? Are there some that you can, some that you can't? What kind of things do you help folks work on?
Yes and yes. What, you want to do the cans and I'll do the cans?
Yeah.
Okay.
So definitely, what we can help with is help you with your budget, your credit, in regards to giving you like good coaching for it. And also depending what goals you have. Some people don't want to own a home. Some people just want to reach their emergency fund. I have a client, for an example, we created a bill account just for her bills, calculated how much her bills are every month, because she's on budget billing. So she has a very grasp firm of how much her bills are. her goal was to have 7 to 8 months worth of bills saved,
Fabulous.
just because she wanted that stability and she had fear of not being able to pay the light bill or the gas. So it's really awesome. We reached the point where she has about 6 months of bills ahead of time in that account, and she has everything
So cool.
on automatic payment. So that's a goal we can help with. Other things that we can't help with, Ashley, what would be?
Yeah, so again, we work more as like coaches or trainers. Like, we're here to guide you, we're here to help you through things. There are certain things that for legal reasons we don't typically get into. So first of all, anything to do with like legality, like we're not going to be able to help with like taxes.
Yeah.
Now, if you have tax money and you're wondering what's the best way to, utilize this, we can certainly guide you in that direction.
Yeah.
But we can't tell you, file your taxes like this,
Yeah.
or, we can't walk you through that. We're also not, it's not going to be in our wheelhouse to just talk about like investing or things like that. If you have minor questions, that are, you could Google, then absolutely we can guide you, but we are not going to be able to tell you like, what you should invest in or things like that. However, for everything that I'm saying that we don't have the ability to help with, we have referral sources for you. So whatever it is that you need, let us know. We will happily let you know whether we can help with that or not. But then if we can't, we will send you to who can help you in whatever those particular instances are. So I think those are the two big ones: taxes and investing.
Yeah.
A lot of people are very interested in that, and it's just not our wheelhouse.
Yes.
And one of the things also is like products. Like, we can't sell you.
Correct.
Yes. We do not have products here. Yeah.
We don't have products and we can't sell you certain things. And then we also don't like help pay off like debts or have grants for that type of like special.
Yeah. Yeah. So we don't have funding to help you pay off your debt. We have the knowledge and the skills and the encouragement and motivation behind
And that is free of charge.
Yeah. Yeah. Excellent question. Is this going to cost you anything? The answer is no. If you've been with us on any of our other Facebook Lives, I'm pretty sure we talk about it pretty much every time. But our services are, so this won't cost you anything. One of the other legal ones that I can think of, bankruptcy.
Yes.
We are not bankruptcy lawyers.
Yes.
We can help you if you've had to file bankruptcy, figure out your finances after that. Maybe y'all can help someone figure out an alternative, but like, since we're not lawyers, we are not going to advise whether you should or should not file bankruptcy.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, we can look at it and we could let you know, like, this could be a potential, thing for you.
Yeah.
Like, I can say, hey, I think, like, with all these dice stacked up against you or whatever, this might be something you could look into. And absolutely, I will give you your options when it comes to that kind of thing. But we're not going to physically be the ones to set that up. We're going to send you, by referral to a bankruptcy lawyer so that they can answer all those very technical questions. Again, really anything that has to do with like legal matters, it's going to be referred out.
Yes. And something that you've both kind of like alluded to and mentioned, we have a really robust referral network, both for services, but also for products. And if I remember correctly, our rule of thumb is that we typically like to give at least 3 recommendations for each of those things so that you can choose which one you want to go with. So if it's a product, we try to give you 3 different like local banks or businesses that can offer that product so that you can choose where you feel most comfortable going, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just kind of to go on that point, we don't get like, kickbacks or things like that for referring you, to a certain place or a certain company. So it's never anything like that. It's going to be just who we feel could help you the most, and then you are free to utilize those services from whoever we get. So just know that if you receive a referral from us, it's going to be for somebody who is going to actually be able to help you.
Yes.
And then kind of go from there with your feelings on them or their product or their company or whatever the case may be.
Cool. I've got a couple questions that I saw came in from Sharon, so I want to take a quick second. So the first one I can address, and then I'll let you guys talk to the other 2. Recommending a tax preparer. Yes. So actually, was that back in February maybe or March? We did a Facebook Live with one of our good friends. Her name is actually Nikki Wilson, and she can help individuals prepare taxes. I think her business name is simply Nikki Wilson Tax Services. You might be able to Google that, but Sharon, what I'll also do is after we're done going live, I will pop her information in the chat to you. But you can also go back and search that video in our archives. It might be one of the ones that's pinned to the top of our page. So it's myself, Nikki Wetzel, talking to another Nikki Nikki Wilson. So she would be a great option for you. And then the other question that she had, you're welcome, is that do you guys have experience working with adults with ADHD or autism?
Currently I do not have.
So I do. I mean, I have had a couple of clients, and that's been like a setback for them.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's what I like to do is I just kind of let you lead, like with your comfortability. You'll have to tell me exactly what is going to be the best way. Like for instance, I have a client who, again, she has a very difficult time focusing, like when we're in a meeting.
Okay.
And so she requests that everything be in writing. So after I've kind of walked her through whatever it is we're talking about, I will always send her like a bulleted follow-up email. Like, this is what we talked about. These are the 3 things that you need to get done before our next session. I think that if that is something that you are living with, don't let that hold you back. But also we just keep that, we have to make sure that you're keeping that communication open, and you will have to be the one to kind of tell me what you feel like you need from me to engage the best.
That's something I was going to add. Veronica, maybe not off the top of your head, but there is also a very good possibility that people maybe just haven't disclosed that to you. So yes, anecdotally, I would say that there's a very high chance that all of our coaches, all of our team have worked with folks who have ADHD or autism. And it's, again, like Ashlee said, I love that. It's just, please disclose that and let us know how we can help you and make sure, like, I'm sure if it was an hour appointment is too much for me, I'm sure you guys would be willing to go down to a 30-minute appointment and maybe do those weekly instead of an hour bi-weekly. Again, like we said earlier, this can be totally customized and personalized to you. So there are a lot of adjustments that we can make. Yes, accountability is a big deal, and that's what these lovely humans are here for. Like, they really help you get started, get that plan going, get you started down that path, and then whatever level of accountability you need, they're here to support you, which is awesome. Okay, so we've talked about goals. We talked about just now, you kind of lightly addressed it, Ashlee, but what are some barriers that you feel like you've heard people maybe experience or express maybe some hesitation to coming to or starting coaching, and what would you say to someone who might be thinking of that right now, if they're watching or they watch this later?
So basically, one of the barriers I've had with clients is I just have to pay off too many things right now. Once I get financially better, I'll consider coaching. And my encouragement to them is, the better you can get organized with your funds and get that extra support, and the sooner the better. Because you waiting to pay things off in order to get coaching, that's what coaching is to help you be that extra tool and that support system for us to actually be there and have you navigate everything. We don't want you to come to us with, okay, I finally paid off my debt, my score is looking better, now I think I can get coaching. No, we're there to be with you throughout the length of time to get you to that process. Yes, so I've had people that are like, I just have too much debt right now, and maybe there's a little bit of like hesitation because of that, or a little bit of worry, but the sooner you get started, the better.
Oh, dearest, you're so sweet. Just do it. You can do anything you put your mind to, stay disciplined, and have the best coach. Wonder who you're talking about. Ashlee, anything you would add to that?
Yeah. One of the things that I hear the most is people think like they don't have enough income. And yes, there are times where it's like, unfortunately, the solution is, to this problem is you're going to have to make a little bit more. But I don't think that that's typically the case. Most people are making an income that, can be worked with. We can figure some things out. And I don't want that to be a barrier. I think that people kind of get the impression, unless I've got, $500 in the savings
Yes.
and I'm making, like $4,000 a month, like
Right.
I'm no good to you. And actually it's exactly the opposite, it's like the more that we can help you, that's kind of what we want to do. And kind of like what Veronica was saying, don't wait and get yourself even further in a hole. Like let us help you, like when people are like, oh, I don't get pedicures because I have ugly feet. It's like that's why you get one. It's like don't do that. Like if you're in a bind, if you're in a position, like let us help you. Don't like try and to crawl your way out of it alone if you don't have to.
Yeah. And I want to say on the flip side of both of this, while you need an income and sometimes that can be a barrier, you feel like you don't have enough. I have also heard, folks talk about like, well, I make this much money, so that should be enough. And I just,
Absolutely.
so we will help anyone on that income spectrum. If you make 6+ figures, but you're really struggling to figure out where to put that money, and maybe you're falling victim to what we call lifestyle creep. The more money you make, the more money you spend. Like that's okay too. And please come. Like we can help with that. Something that we talk about constantly is we really want to help remove like the shame and blame around finances. Finances have historically been such a taboo topic, and ooh, we shouldn't talk about that and like shove it under the rug. And it's like, no, let's talk about it. Like, let's make that more normal. So this is a judgment-free space. We have been there and done the things ourselves. We emphasized that the couple weeks ago, but truly, like we have been there and done the things. Like this is a place where I feel very confident you will feel welcome and safe. What does our welcome rug say? Enter as strangers, leave as friends.
Yeah.
And we've had multiple people say, yes, that's really how it is. So yes, we try our very best to make it a very warm and welcoming space. So we are right on the cusp, but I want to end with, I don't see any more questions in the chat. If someone has one, please feel free to pop that in. But I would like to end with up on a high note. So if you guys can think of a particular success story or something that's been really powerful with someone that you've been working with, let's talk about that.
Sure. Do you want to go first, Ashlee?
Sure. Right now I'm working with a lovely woman, and she has a lot of debt due to like personal loans and those firms and those afterpays.
Yes.
And
Oh, they'll get you.
Yeah, they
Those
get
pay it
you.
forwards.
Yeah, and so, we had a discussion about like, obviously there's better ways to get things paid, maybe you don't need it if that's kind of like what you're doing. And so I kind of asked her like let's back down on that. Let's have maybe just one going at a time, and let's work on paying off, all 10 of them. And we meet every other week, and we've been meeting for about 2 months now, every other week, and every other time I speak with her, she's like, this one's paid down, that one's paid down, this one's paid down, this one's paid down. And I can just see like it lifting like slowly but surely weekly. She's like, when I got my Target one paid down and I've got this one paid down. And I think that she's just doing an incredible job. And it's a success, for me, because it's like she felt very overwhelmed with the fact that she's in a position now where she's able to just tackle as much as she can when she can. And now she's starting to kind of see that progress. Like, oh, I had 10 and now I only have like 2 more until I'm done. And it's just a really good feeling for her. So that makes me feel good to see her every week making
Progress is success.
Absolutely.
Veronica?
So obviously, like, it's always awesome to see clients reach their goals and buy their house. But a really fun one I had last month is I had a client, and he's been working really hard on repairing his credit. He's getting home ready, but one thing he didn't know was an option, which was like the most adorable thing, was I told him, what other personal goal you have? And he said, I would really, and it made me jump out of my seat. I was so happy. He's like, I would really like start to save for an engagement ring. So we've started to save for his engagement. He felt like his girlfriend deserves so much more, and his credit was not the healthiest. And he wants to be able to one day provide a home and security. So the fact that he's fixing all that around and now saving for an engagement ring makes me so excited. I told him next step is like the wedding, so. That's what it takes over.
Hopefully everyone's not watching.
Yeah.
That's so
So that was a fun one to have.
love it. Okay, that's awesome. I saw a hi from Otis. Hi, Otis. So good to see you. I don't see any more questions in the chat, and we are at our 30 minutes. So I just want to say thank you for joining. Hopefully this makes you feel more confident, more excited about maybe signing up for coaching. Just last reminders, it is free. There is no catch. It is truly free. You can go to our website, prosperityconnection.org, the Get Started button up in the top right corner, and get signed up. And one of these lovely humans will reach out to you, usually within two business days. Thank you all again for joining. We will see you again in June.